Who are the most important people in your life?
Well, my family, obviously, my parents. I've got younger brother and sister, and also my friends. My main friends are a group from university, so them.
The most important people in my life are my family, my husband and my 2 sons.
Those are my parents and my twin brother.
My husband and my son.
My children and my parents.
I would say my boyfriend and my family and my close friends.
How often do you see them?
Well, I live with my parents at the moment, so I see them every day. And my friends live in different places around the country, so something like every couple of weeks, I guess, I see one good friend.
I see my family every day, first thing in the morning and last thing at night.
About 4 times a year.
Every day.
My children 4 or 5 times a week. My parents about once a year because they live in America.
Well, I see my boyfriend every day, my family probably once every 2 or 3 weeks, and I see my friends several times a week.
How do you greet your family and friends?
Oh, well, it depends how long it's been since I saw them. If I haven't seen my friends for a couple of weeks or a month, then I'd probably shake. If it's a guy, I'd probably shake hands. If it's a girl, I'd probably hug. But I see my family so often that we don't really have any physical contact.
My family with a kiss. My friends, sometimes a kiss, sometimes I shake hands.
That always with a hug.
Big kisses and hugs.
Hugs. Big hugs.
I will say hello.
Where do you usually go on holiday?
Madrid and Cornwall.
Well, I sometimes go to Moscow in Russia because I used to live there. I go there about once a year. And I often take short holidays in this country. So I usually go to perhaps a bed and breakfast just for a weekend, something like that.
I like to go to France on holiday.
I always go to my home country, the Netherlands.
Quite often within Europe, so France or the Netherlands, or sometimes further afield. So, for example, I went to Vietnam and Japan recently.
What do you usually do?
I enjoy myself with family and do lots of swimming in the swimming pool. And when we go to Cornwall, same thing but in the sea.
I like walking. If I'm in the countryside, I like walking in the hills. And if I'm in a city, I like walking as well. I just like to walk around different areas. And I like trying different foods when I'm in a different country or a different part of this country. I like to try the local speciality, whatever it is.
I do cultural things. I visit museums, and if I'm going somewhere sunny, I like to sit on the beach.
Visit family and friends.
I like to do a variety of things. I'm not someone who can just lie on a beach, so I like to visit museums or see interesting places.
What do tourists do when they visit your country?
Tend to take lots of photographs, look at the sights. I think enjoy Oxford especially, hopefully, very much.
I think lots of tourists come here because of the traditions, things like the royal family and famous universities. So I think they like to visit things like Buckingham Palace, kind of attractions, buildings. They like to visit the architecture in Oxford, for example. I don't think they would go to the beach or things like that. You probably wouldn't come to England to go, to go for a beach holiday.
A lot of them like to see the sights and like to visit our restaurants.
Mostly visit Amsterdam and Delft, the interesting cities.
They tend to take a lot of photographs, in my experience.
Edinburgh is Scotland's capital and the country's second largest city. The first settlements in Edinburgh date back before the Romans came to Britain. But the city really began in the 11th century when King Malcolm III and his wife Queen Margaret built the first castle. Their son, David I, then built an abbey at Holyrood, a mile to the east of the castle. The city then grew up between these 2 points. Holyrood is now a royal palace. For the next 7 centuries, the city grew until it could only grow upwards. People lived in these 16th century stone buildings to avoid the smell of the city below. And it was the smell of the city which led to the building of Edinburgh's new town, north of the castle in the 18th century. Edinburgh was a very important city in Europe at this time. Philosophers, economists, poets and writers were all living and working in the city, and the period is known as the Scottish Enlightenment. The modern city of Edinburgh is home to the new Scottish Parliament and the Scottish Executive, the country's government. It is also home to the Edinburgh Festival. The festival began in 1947 and is a 3-week celebration of art, music, theatre, film, dance and comedy. During the festival, there are performances all over the city. Over 30,000 performers come to the city to work in over 2,000 shows.
In the 1950s, I always sense a bit of scepticism in the room at this point in the show, but no. What was that little inflection I heard?
You set fruit and really find out it actually had more.
But the festival is especially important for comedy in Britain. As for many performers, this is their first chance to perform in front of big audiences. During the festival, Edinburgh's population of 450,000 people doubles, and the city becomes the cultural capital of the world. The first settlements in Edinburgh date back before the Romans came to Britain. Holyrood is now a royal palace. During the festival, there are performances all over the city. Over 30,000 performers come to the city to work in over 2,000 shows. During the festival, Edinburgh's population of 450,000 people doubles, and the city becomes the cultural capital of the world.
Did you used to like school?
Yes, I really liked school. I really enjoyed learning.
No.
Yeah, I liked school quite a lot.
I loved school. I preferred university, but loved school.
Not at all, no. Hated school.
What did you used to like about it?
I liked the social side of school. I liked being with my friends, and I also liked finding out about lots of different subjects and learning new information.
English and history, because I like those two teachers in particular.
I liked my friends there. I liked the variety of subjects that we could learn, but I didn't like sports very much.
I loved the range of studies and also the number of friends that were there.
I very much enjoyed playing football when I was at junior school, yes, but not much else, no.
What did you do after you left school?
After I left school, I went to university in Ireland and I studied English literature.
I worked at a builder's merchants as a sales assistant.
I went straight to university. Some of my friends took a gap year, but I decided to go straight on.
I joined the Navy and spent 8 years at sea.
I went to university and then joined the army for a while, and then I've been in business since then.
How important is music to you?
Music is very important to me. I play the oboe and I play in an orchestra, and that's one of my favourite things in my life.
Not really important. I do like listening to music when I'm driving.
Music is very valuable in my life. I think it is in most people's lives. Yes, hugely.
Yeah, very.
What kind of music do you like?
I like to listen to classical music, mainly symphonies and music with orchestras, and I like some modern music. I like indie music, so British guitar bands mainly.
My favourite is classical music. I much prefer classical music to any other type of music.
Oh, now we're talking. I suppose my favourite sort of music is jazz, to dance to, drum and bass. But I do like a wide range of music. If I'm driving in the car, then I'll probably listen to classical music. Yeah.
Mainly rock, but most types, so, you know, open to all things.
Do you prefer listening to music or watching films?
Listening to music, definitely. I don't like going to the cinema at all.
Oh, watching films, without a doubt. I love films.
I enjoy both, but I think my preference would probably be listening to music, yeah.
Depends on my mood. I think I more often listen to music than I do watch films, because it's more exciting.
There are over 1.5 million full-time university students in the UK, studying at over 100 universities across the country. Students usually require 3 or 4 good A-level grades to get a place at university. For most courses, students apply in the January of their final year of school, but they don't find out if they have got a place until the exam results are published in August. Most degree courses are 3 years long, but 4-year courses are becoming more popular, with 1 year spent either abroad or working in industry. Warwick University, in the Midlands of England, is a typical modern campus university. Of its 16,000 students, over 5,000 are international students from over 120 different countries. Most British campus universities were built in the 1960s and 70s. Traditionally, universities had grown in the centres of cities, but the new universities were built outside the cities. At Warwick University, the nearest city is Coventry, which is several miles away. But students rarely have to leave the campus. At Warwick, there's even an arts centre with a theatre and a cinema. At campus universities, the students' social lives centre mainly around the student union. Wednesday afternoons are usually reserved for sport at UK universities, with inter-university league matches happening across the country in a wide range of sports. University teaching methods vary from course to course. Large lecture theatres can hold up to 300 students. Students may also attend smaller lectures and seminars where more student participation is encouraged. Students rely more and more on online learning as part of their university studies these days. Universities are adapting their study facilities to help students with these needs. At Warwick, students have access to the learning grid. This is similar to a library, except students can eat, drink and talk in the learning grid. There are some books, but most of the study resources are online and the grid is open 24/7. Most UK students attend universities quite far away from their hometowns. At campus universities, most first-year students live on site in halls of residence. The accommodation is owned by the university. Students usually have their own room with internet access. But they have to share a bathroom and kitchen with several other students. In the UK, university is often seen as a stepping stone to adulthood and is considered to be as much about life experience as it is about getting a degree. For most courses, students apply in the January of their final year of school, but they don't find out if they have got a place until the exam results are published in August. Most British campus universities were built in the 1960s and 70s. Warwick University, in the Midlands of England, is a typical modern campus university. Wednesday afternoons are usually reserved for sport at UK universities, with inter-university league matches happening across the country in a wide range of sports.
Are you interested in politics?
It's not my greatest interest, even though it ought to be, but I am interested in it at the right times, shall we say, yes.
Yes, I'm very interested in politics. It's actually part of my work.
Not hugely. I vote when there's an election, and if there's a big story in the news, then I follow it, but apart from that, not really.
Sometimes, if there's an election going on, then I'm interested, yes.
Yes, very much so.
What do you know about politics in your country?
I know very little about the politics in my country, even though I always feel that I ought to know more.
I know quite a lot because I need to for my work. I work directly with ministers in the government, which means I need to follow politics quite closely.
Well, I know that we are a monarchy. We have a head of state. We have a queen rather than a president who's not really involved in politics. And when we have an election, we vote for a party, and the leader of that party becomes Prime Minister. I think that's the most important thing.
I don't know a great deal, I'm embarrassed to say. I know a little about all the political parties, and I know who I then want to vote for when there is an election. But there's a lot I don't know.
Well, in this country, there are two main political parties. One is Labour, which is a socialist party, and the other is Conservatives, is more of a right-wing party. The Labour Party are in power at the moment, and our Prime Minister is a man called Gordon Brown, who is the leader of that party.
How well do you know your neighbours?
Not very well, but I know who they are, and if I see them, we say hello.
Really well, actually. It's one of the nice things about the street where I live is that we all know each other and we'll go round to each other's houses and so on.
I know my neighbours quite well on one side, but not at all on the other side.
Not very well at all. I've just moved house, so no, I've not met them yet, but I've been told they're a nice bunch.
I know some of them very well.
Not well.
Do your neighbours do anything that you don't like?
No, they don't. They're quite an old couple. They're very quiet. I think we probably do things that they don't like. We've got a dog, and it can be quite noisy, and my brother plays his music quite loud sometimes.
No, not generally. Sometimes they might play their music a little bit too loud, but then we all do that.
Yes, actually, they do. They quite like to have parties, especially in the summer, in the evening. And they're quite noisy parties. Sometimes they invite me and sometimes they don't.
Not so far. I've been told that they do like a party every now and again and can be quite noisy. But no, I haven't experienced it yet, so well, I might be louder than them.
No, our neighbours are fine. If I think about it, it's probably us who annoy them because we play a lot of classical music very loud and quite late at night.
Yes, my neighbour bangs on the wall when we're hoovering.
The capital of the United States is Washington, D.C. It is surrounded by the states of Maryland to the north and east, and Virginia to the south. Many European capitals are simply the biggest city in the country, but Washington is a planned capital. The site was chosen by the country's first president, George Washington, and named in honor of him. DC stands for District of Columbia, a federal district unlike the other states in the United States. It is also the official name of the city. The city is not large. Only 600,000 people live there, but it is home to the US government, and every day another 400,000 people come into Washington to work for the various federal government departments. Many buildings and monuments in Washington, D.C. follow a classical architectural style. There are two symbolic reasons for this. They are reminders that the United States, like ancient Rome and Greece, is a republic, and that the country is different from Great Britain, the monarchy the United States won its independence from. The Lincoln Memorial in the center of the city celebrates the 16th President of the USA, Abraham Lincoln. He abolished slavery and led the country through the Civil War before he was shot and killed in 1865. President Obama has said that Lincoln is one of his greatest political inspirations. The Washington Memorial is the tallest stone structure in the world. It celebrates the first President of the United States, George Washington. In 1787, he was one of 39 politicians to sign the original United States Constitution, which provides the framework for the organization of the United States government. He is considered by many to be the father of the country. This is the Supreme Court, the highest court in the United States. The Supreme Court dates back to 1790, but this building was opened in 1935. There can only be 9 Supreme Court justices at a time, and it is their job to interpret the country's constitution. Across First Avenue from the Supreme Court is the Capitol building. It is home to both of the houses of Congress. On the left is the Senate, and on the right, the House of Representatives. No building in Washington can be taller than the Capitol. This is the White House. It is a Georgian-style building, and it was built between 1792 and 1800. And it is the home of the most powerful man on earth, the President of the United States. The Lincoln Memorial in the center of the city celebrates the 16th President of the USA, Abraham Lincoln. In 1787, he was one of 39 politicians to sign the original United States Constitution, which provides the framework for the organization of the United States government. This is the Supreme Court, the highest court in the United States. The Supreme Court dates back to 1790, but this building was opened in 1935. There can only be 9 Supreme Court justices at a time, and it is their job to interpret the country's constitution. Are you doing anything interesting this week?
Well, this weekend we're having a picnic. My family and I are having a picnic with some friends of ours at a local park. So that should be fun.
Yes, I am. I'm going to a wedding at the weekend.
This week it is my son's birthday, so we're having a party.
Well, I'm going away with my friends to the south coast for a weekend. Should be fun.
Yes, my football club, we are playing against Oxford University tonight, so I'll be hoping for a good performance and hopefully I'll win.
Yes, I'm getting married.
Do you have any plans for next year?
Yeah, next year at Christmas we're going over to Canada. We're going to visit my wife's family for a few weeks.
Next year, I would really like to go on holiday to Mexico.
Next year, I'm going to buy a mountain bike.
Next year, well, possibly going back to university to study architecture, do the second part.
For next year, yes, I'll start a new job in October, so I'm really excited about that, and it's in Oxford and I'll just be hoping to do well in that job too.
Yes, I'm starting a PhD.
Have you ever had a job interview?
I have had a job interview.
Yes, I have, about 3 years ago.
Yes, I've had quite a lot of job interviews.
Yeah, it was for an architecture job.
Yes, I've had quite a few job interviews in my life so far, yeah.
What did they ask you?
They asked me about my previous experience and why I wanted the job and why I thought I would be good in the job.
They asked me the last time anyone had made me angry and what I had done.
They asked me why I wanted the job and what I had done previously and what about my experience and whether I thought I would be suitable for the role.
In my last job interview, they asked me why I wanted to do the job, why I thought I would be good at it, why I wanted to leave my previous job, questions like that.
Did you get the job?
I did get the job, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
I didn't, no.
The last one I did get it, yeah, so it went quite well in the end, yeah.
This is Paris. one of the most beautiful cities in the world. The city is full of elegant buildings and elegantly dressed people, and is a mix of the old and the new. It has been the French capital since the 6th century, but it was during the 19th century that the city really developed, and design has played an important part in this. This is Paris's most famous building, the Eiffel Tower. It was built between 1887 and 1889. Its engineer, Gustave Eiffel, said that its strength came from the fact that it was both beautiful and mathematical. The city's most famous street is the Champs-Élysées. It stretches from the Place de la Concorde to the Arc de Triomphe. The Champs-Élysées also has many shops, cafes and restaurants. These are places to do business and to meet friends, and above all, to look good. Off the Champs-Élysées is the Avenue Montaigne. This street is home to the Paris fashion houses and shops. And it is here that Paris's most famous fashion designers have worked. Coco Chanel opened her first shop in 1913. Today, her fashion empire stretches across the world, and she still fascinates the French. Her life has recently been made into a film. Yves Saint Laurent designed clothes for both men and women. He started work at the House of Dior. By the age of 21, he was head designer. But in 1962, he established his own house. Over the last 100 years, Paris fashion designers have created clothes for some of the most famous and beautiful women. This legacy continues today. Paris's designer labels are adored by fashion-conscious people around the world. It has been the French capital since the 6th century. This is Paris's most famous building, the Eiffel Tower. It was built between 1887 and 1889. Yves Saint Laurent designed clothes for both men and women. He started work at the House of Dior. By the age of 21, he was head designer. But in 1962, he established his own house.
What will you have done in 5 years' time?
I think in 5 years' time, hopefully I'll have got married and hopefully I'll have been promoted and hopefully also I'll have moved to a different country because I'd really like to live abroad.
Well, in 5 years' time, hopefully I'll have been promoted. I'll have paid a bit of my mortgage off by then. And possibly I'll have had a nice long holiday as well in 5 years. So.
Well, I'll hopefully be an architect in 5 years, and other than that, I'm not sure.
In 5 years' time, I hope to have obtained a fellowship at the university, and I also hope to have become an FA qualified football coach, and to get married, hopefully, if she says yes.
Hopefully I will have completed my PhD and will have had some children.
Well, hopefully my children will have left home and gone to university, and then I'll no longer be supporting them.
What will the world be like in 2050?
I hope that the world will be a better place to live in 2050, but unfortunately there are a lot of environmental problems that are really hard to deal with. But I think that we'll develop ways of resolving all the problems that we have now so that we can make the world a better place to live in.
Well, I think probably it'll be a lot more populated. There'll be a lot more people in the world by then. I suspect that it will be a lot dirtier as well. It would be nice to think that we'll have cleaned it up a little bit, but unfortunately, I think we probably won't have.
I think if we carry on the way we are at the moment, the world will end up a lot more polluted and we'll have a lot more problems to deal with in terms of environmental and social issues.
In 2050, well, unfortunately, I think it will be a lot hotter and less stable climatically, but hopefully we'll have used technology to solve some of these issues. I also think the population will be very big, so, but hopefully we can improve human rights in the third world.
Probably hotter. I anticipate that it'll be hotter and we'll be facing problems of overpopulation, ageing population and climate change.
How often do you go shopping?
Well, food shopping, we go once a week to our local supermarket. For clothes, I don't go shopping very often actually, maybe once every couple of months.
Shopping, I rarely go shopping. I have maybe twice a week to Sainsbury's to get my normal food.
I go shopping for food about once a week, but I also really like going clothes shopping, and I'd say I probably go and do that every couple of weeks.
Oh, as often as I can, at least once a week.
Well, I go shopping for food several times a week, but for other things, probably only about once a month.
What do you like to buy?
Well, I don't really enjoy shopping for food or clothes particularly. I do like shopping for music though, so I like buying CDs when I get a chance.
Well, I really like buying all kinds of clothes, to be honest, and I also like buying makeup as well.
Anything really that I see that I like.
I like to buy clothes. And I like to buy drawing and painting things as well. Paints and pencils and things like that.
Do you think of the environment when you shop?
I should think of the environment when I go shopping, but I don't always very much. We always take reusable shopping bags to the supermarket, for example, so we don't throw away plastic bags. But apart from that, that's probably all we really do.
Yeah, I think about it quite a lot actually, especially when I go food shopping, because it's horrifying sometimes how much packaging there is around food. So I try to buy things that don't have much packaging, and I also take my own shopping bags whenever I go shopping to recycle them.
No, sorry.
Yes, that's why I came on the bus today. And also I suppose I do, to some extent, in what I buy. I could probably do more, but I do think about it.
This is the Eden Project in Cornwall in the southwest of England. In 1998, this area was just an empty clay quarry. But Eden has been an amazing success story. Today, it's one of the UK's top tourist attractions, with around 1.2 million paying visitors every year. On July the 8th, 2008, the attraction welcomed its 10 millionth visitor. In less than 10 years, it has brought about £800 million to the local economy. If the Eden Project didn't employ over 300 local people, many of them wouldn't be able to find jobs in this area and would leave Cornwall. Eden's founders described the project as a global garden full of exhibits that explore our place in nature and the relationship between plants and people. They hope that if we think about how much we rely on plants, we will treat our environment with more respect. The Eden Project has 3 biomes: the rainforest biome, the Mediterranean biome, and the outdoor biome. In the indoor biomes, the climate is carefully controlled, as the Cornish weather can be unpredictable. The huge rainforest biome needs to be hot and wet for the tropical plants to grow. Temperatures can get very high inside the biome. If visitors get too hot, there's a room where they can cool down. The Mediterranean biome is drier and cooler, but the plants are still protected from freezing temperatures and snow during the winter. Since the year 2000, there has been an annual summer season of concerts called the Eden Sessions. By the end of this summer, bands such as Oasis and Kasabian will have played to thousands of fans from a stage in the centre of the project. Since it opened in 1998, the Eden Project has been growing every year. The Education Centre, known as the Core, opened in 2006. The centre cost £15 million and construction took nearly 2 years. All of the building materials are environmentally friendly and it uses solar power. Nature inspired the design of the building. The structure of the roof looks like a giant sunflower, and there's a huge stone-carved seed at the centre of the building. In the core, and all around Eden, displays encourage visitors to think about the environmental and social problems that affect our planet today. The project tries to educate visitors about a range of issues, from the fair trade of products such as bananas and flowers, to reducing waste, recycling, and preserving our natural resources. And Eden is still a work in progress. There are many exciting plans for the future. They've been planning a fourth biome for the past few years. The new biome, known as the Edge, will show what could happen if we fail to control global warming and the Earth's temperature continues to rise. The founders of Eden hope that if today's visitors come back in another 10 years' time, the Edge will have been built. But they also hope that we will have found the solutions to many of the environmental problems we have today and learn to treat our environment with respect. If the Eden Project didn't employ over 300 local people, many of them wouldn't be able to find jobs in this area and would leave Cornwall. Since the year 2000, there has been an annual summer season of concerts called the Eden Sessions. By the end of this summer, bands such as Oasis and Kasabian will have played to thousands of fans from a stage in the centre of the project. All of the building materials are environmentally friendly, and it uses solar power. And Eden is still a work in progress. There are many exciting plans for the future. They've been planning a fourth biome for the past few years. Where do you stay when you go on holiday?
It varies, depends what I'm doing, but maybe I might stay in a hotel, or I might stay in a chalet if it was skiing, or an apartment in a city perhaps.
We usually hire a cottage.
If it's a short city break, I'll stay in a hostel or a hotel, depending on my budget. For a longer holiday, I'll stay in a self-catering apartment or flat.
Well, usually we stay with family in our family house. But apart from that, if we go camping, for example, then we'll stay in a tent. of course, or occasionally we'll go and stay in a hotel as well.
To be honest, when I go on holiday, I stay in all sorts of different places, sometimes in hotels, sometimes in bed and breakfasts, and sometimes we camp, so we stay in a tent.
Can you recommend somewhere to visit in your area?
The Ashmolean Museum has just been renovated. They've spent millions and millions of pounds, and it's absolutely amazing.
Well, I live close to Oxford, so there are lots of places to visit in Oxford. But I live actually in Abingdon, and Abingdon is a lovely place where there were, hundreds of years ago, a huge abbey, and you can still see where the abbey used to be and a few of the buildings.
Well, I would visit Cowley Road because it's a bit more different, it's a bit more eccentric, got some good restaurants, a few nice bars, and there's a couple of nightclubs as well.
I live in the Cotswolds, which is near Oxford, which is beautiful countryside, and there's lots of little villages there that are very pretty to visit, lots of antique shops for people to look around, and some very, very nice walks to take as well.
Yes, I can. I live in the Lake District, so if you were to come to this area, then you could visit all the mountains or all the lakes.
Do you wish anything was different in your life?
Yes, I wish at the moment I had more money.
Overall, I'd say that I'm pretty happy with my life, but I would like to live a bit closer to my parents and to be nearer to my family.
Not really. Of course, it would be nice to have a nicer car and a bigger house, to earn more money, but generally, I don't really wish anything particular was different, no.
Oh, do I wish yes, I wish I worked less.
At this point, no, because I think everything, happens at a certain time, and it teaches you certain things when life's supposed to teach you that. So no, don't.
What are your hopes for the future?
I hope to be able to continue doing work that I enjoy doing, and being able to have some time to do the things in my spare time that I enjoy.
I'd really like to live abroad at some point in my life, and I would actually hope to move to Germany with my boyfriend.
Well, I hope that my career goes well and that I get promoted into a better job. I have hopes for my children, of course, that they are successful in their lives and happy. Yeah.
To work less, more leisure time, have a comfortable retirement.
Well, being around the UK and being around a fair bit in my life, I just hope that everybody can be united, It doesn't matter what color or creed you're from, it's one big world, and just live it and be happy in it, yeah.
William Shakespeare is the most famous writer in the English language, but we really know very little for certain about him. We know that he was born on the 23rd of April 1564, and that he died on the same day in 1616. He was a poet, playwright and actor for most of his life. He wrote 38 plays and 154 sonnets or short poems. Shakespeare was born in this house in Stratford, where his father made gloves. Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway in 1582, and the couple had 3 children. By 1592, Shakespeare was in London, writing plays and probably performing in them too. This is a recreation of the Globe Theatre in London. The original was built in 1599 and possibly paid for by Shakespeare and other members of his acting company. We think that Shakespeare retired in 1613 and came back to Stratford from London. He died at his house in New Place 3 years later. Shakespeare's plays are performed all over the world and in almost every language. But most people associate Shakespeare with Stratford. And it is here that Britain's Royal Shakespeare Company have their home, and where they perform most. We spoke to the actor Sam Alexander, who has been a member of the company for 3 years.
It's very special performing in Shakespeare's hometown. It's a place that people come from all over the world to visit, to learn about Shakespeare and to see his plays. And indeed, people started coming here very early on. Only 50 years after his death, people came from London wanting to know if this was Shakespeare's town, and there's been a tourist industry here ever since. And you do feel when you're on stage and talking to people afterwards, often it's a long journey for people, and they've come here and they feel quite privileged to be in the town, and you feel quite privileged doing plays in this town. Also, the RSC is a wonderful organisation. It's been here 50 or 60 years and has a lot of resources, and they're just in the process of building a brand new theatre. In the meantime, we're performing in a prototype stage up the road. And the new theatre, I think, is going to be even more special and a wonderful landmark for people to visit.
He was a poet, playwright and actor for most of his life. He wrote 38 plays and 154 sonnets or short poems. Shakespeare was born in this house in Stratford, where his father made gloves. This is a recreation of the Globe Theatre in London. The original was built in 1599 and possibly paid for by Shakespeare and other members of his acting company.
Also, the RSC is a wonderful organisation. It's been here 50 or 60 years and has a lot of resources, and they're just in the process of building a brand new theatre